Hello and welcome to the 15th week in the Barclays Premier League, and this being my preview video of, exactly of the 15th week. And in this week in the Premier League, a lot of the top teams are playing each other, which really calls for various interesting matches, and most predictably there'll be interesting scorelines. So we'll start the 15th week off at Old Trafford, where Manchester United host Newcastle United. Now, Manchester United just coming off a loss basically minutes ago when I'm recording this to Everton at home. So they'll be extremely disappointed with their performance. They played well, but they just couldn't convert their chances. So I think in this game against Newcastle, they'll really want to show their dominance and expect, the likely goal scorers in Wayne Rooney, Marouane Fellaini if he starts, Antonio Valencia, to get amongst the goal scorers there. And I think that Manchester United will really just dominate Newcastle, who I think will be a bit short of quality all over the pitch, and this game will show. And therefore I'm predicting that that's Manchester United, will beat Newcastle United 2-1. To Selhurst Park, where Crystal Palace will face Cardiff City in a battle of the newly promoted teams. And I think that Crystal Palace, just because Tony Pulis is there and of the changes that we've already seen in Palace's game, I think that Palace can maybe not pull off an upset, supposedly, but they'll definitely get the win at home, is what I'm predicting here. I think that under Tony Pulis, they're a lot more direct, and Pulis' squads, they've never gotten, I don't think he's been relegated as a manager. So, the Crystal Palace faithful, their fans and their players should really get behind their new manager, because I think if everything goes right, they could possibly survive. Although personally I don't think they will. However, in this game I see Crystal Palace playing some pretty good football. Their midfield's a lot stronger than Cardiff's is, and I think that they can cause Cardiff problems at their own game, i.e. being set pieces. And therefore I believe Palace will win at home 1-0. To Anfield, where Liverpool, and in particular Luis Suarez, are running riot, and they play host to West Ham. I think this game will be the same as the other two. The home side will get the win. Liverpool coming off a 5-1 rout of Norwich City, where Suarez scored a hat-trick in basically a little over half an hour, and I don't see why he can't do it again against West Ham. The only problem that Liverpool could possibly face is West Ham is whoever they play up front. If they play Carlton Cole, he's dangerous aerially and from set pieces, and Liverpool have been known to be a little bit weak when it comes to set pieces, and that centre-back pairing, whether it be Skirtle and Agger, can be a little bit exposed to the presence of a strong striker. That being said, Liverpool have a lot more quality over the pitch, and especially up front, where they have Suarez, who's in form, and I think that they'll cause West Ham and indeed UC Jääskeläinen's goal a lot of heartache, and expect Liverpool to pick up the win here. I believe they'll win 3-0. At St Mary's, Southampton, who have been on the decline in recent weeks, play host to Manchester City. Now, Manchester City have been destroying teams at home, we all know that, but away, they're not as good, clearly. Now, Southampton, again, minutes ago, lost to Aston Villa at home, and again, they'll probably want to lift their game to accommodate the former champions in Manchester City. I think that if Southampton play the way they've been playing over the past recent couple of months, that they could cause City some problems. For City, they're always going to be a threat no matter where you look at on the pitch. They're starting 11, and they can bring people off the bench as well. But this game will be about whether Southampton can play at their full potential and get the likes of Lambert and Lallana involved, and also make sure that Wanyama and indeed Morgan Schneiderlin can screen off that back four from potential City attacks or indeed counter attacks. And that being said, I do have faith in Southampton that they can deliver, and I predict that the game will end 1-1, a draw. At the Britannia, Stoke City will play Chelsea, and Chelsea have been in kind of a bit of a pickle recently. They did win against Sunderland 4-3. But they haven't been playing, their best football. I thought at the start of the season that yes, indeed Chelsea with Mourinho, just because the Mourinho factor, would be the champions. But they haven't been playing like that. However, in this game, I see that them really just doing a professional job here, going to the Britannia and picking up the 3 points early. They're creative midfielders that when they play 4-2-3-1, the three behind the main striker, whoever that be, I think will just cause Stoke City problems. And even though it's at home, I think Stoke will really play with a defensive mindset and probably go 4-5-1 with Crouch up the top. So a bit of negative tactics for Mark Hughes, and I don't think it'll pay off because I believe Chelsea will win that game 2-0, a comfortable win there. At the Hawthorns, West Bromwich Albion will host Norwich City, and I think that West Bromwich Albion can really just get the job done at home. It will be a tough game because Norwich are actually getting a bit of form back, and I just think West Bromwich are too strong. That being said, Norwich City, again, they came off a really hard past match at Anfield, so I think that their morale will be low, and I think West Bromwich can take advantage of that, being at home. They've got good players, Anichebe, Sessegnon, Shane Long up front, and defensively they are a little bit better than Norwich City, and I do like Steve Clarke's tactics as well, so I just give Bromwich the edge here in this game, and I think that they'll win 1-0. The last half of the games here starts with at the Stadium of Light, where Sunderland will face Tottenham Hotspur. Now, Sunderland, they put in a hell of a performance. Gus Poyet should be proud of his players. They put in one heck of a performance against Chelsea. Excuse me, but they couldn't come out with the 3 points, so I think that they'll be a little bit disappointed, and again, their morale will be hurting, because after you try your heart out and you don't get any result from that, I think that for a team like Sunderland, who need that confidence, I think that it'll do them the world of it'll do them a disservice. Tottenham coming to the Stadium of Light, I think that they're a very physical team, and they will show their physicality against this Sunderland side, and expect Villas-Boas's men to pick up the 3 points, and I believe the final score will be Sunderland 1, Tottenham 3. Going into London for the next two games, at Craven Cottage, Fulham will face Aston Villa. I think that Aston Villa, again, I was ranting and raving about them or in the start of this season because of their performance last season, in particular Benteke, but they haven't really, again, hit the heights that I expected that they would. Fulham, again, under new management, I think it will take a little bit of time for them to adopt or whatever new tactics and strategies that they want to survive. But I think it's all about Aston Villa, and I believe, I know I've believed that I've been a bit disappointed in Paul Lambert's how he sets up his team and how he's motivated his players to play, and I haven't been impressed with Villa, and therefore, just going along with that bit of history there, I think that the game will be a scoreless draw, 0-0. The second game in London will take place at North London, where Arsenal will play, or first place Arsenal will face Roberto Martinez Everton. Now, Everton, a really good team, whether it be home and away, because I think that the team is set up ideally for home and away fixtures. They've got a big, strong centre forward up top who is their outlet. They've got, not a really creative midfield, but their midfield does the job well, and the back four is solid. They also have a really reliable goalkeeper. That being said, the way Arsenal have been playing, I see them at home just again continuing their winning form and making it 7 straight games with a win in the Premier League. They rested a couple of their players in their past game against Hull, so I think that they should really be fresh. And for Arsenal, December's a really key month because they face Everton, they go to Naples in the Champions League to face Napoli to qualify. They play Manchester City at the Etihad, which should be an interesting game, and they also face Chelsea. So I think Arsenal, they want to get their confidence and their momentum up especially in this month. And I think a good way to kick things off will be a nice home win against Everton, and that's exactly what I think will happen. And I believe Arsenal will win that game 2-1, but expect it to be a dogfight because Everton are one hell of a side. The final game will take place in Wales, where Swansea will face Hull City. Now, Swansea coming off a 3-0 victory at home against Newcastle United only minutes ago, so I think that Swansea can maintain their winning form. I don't think Hull City will be able to replicate any of their antics when they beat Liverpool, because I think that they're not so good when they're travelling away from home. Again, Steve Bruce, he tactically has some very interesting setups. He can make his team play 3-5-2, 4-4-2, so he's got a lot of variety with his squad. But I think just the way Swansea play the game in the 4-2-3-1, move the ball very fast, have a lot of fluidity in their midfield creativity up front, with Michu also dropping deep and picking up the ball, they'll just really possess a lot of the ball. I think that Hull City may have a couple of chances here and there, and I think that they could take them, and for that reason, even though Swansea will dominate the possession and probably create more chances, I don't think that they'll be able to finish off Hull City, and I predict that the game will end 1-1. So those are my predictions for the 15th week here. Again, we've had a lot of fixtures over the past couple of weeks, and expect that really to continue as the games do really start to heat up in the December months. Remember, in about a month's time, the January transfer window opens. We'll be making a video about that, notifying you guys who your team has bought, who your team probably should have bought, and where your team really sits at kind of the halfway point in the season. So with the predictions that I've just made, I hope I predicted your team won, and I'll see you guys very soon for my review video. Thank you very much, and goodbye.